Thank you so much for joining us today. I see we have a nice crowd on the webinar today. So I'm Evelyn Passies, a Community Relations Manager here at Valley Presbyterian Hospital. And our presenter today is Dr. Avi Amit. He is the Director of Rehabilitation Services here at the hospital. And with that, I will let him take it away. I know that we are running a little behind, so let me just do a quick little switch over here and have him take over. Thank you so much, everyone.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Um, I hope you can hear me. My name is Avi. I've been a physical therapist for over 30 years, and I worked in all kind of settings, hospitals and nursing homes and outpatient clinics. And unfortunately, I see a lot of patients after falls. So, as physical therapists, occupational therapists, we treat the patients for their injuries, but we always researching to know why why the person fell. And by that, we can maybe do some prevention, take some prevention measurements and research why the patient fell and what was the reason, if there are any medical issues. And then we make a plan to minimize the falls or prevent others. And that's the reason why we're here today. And this is my why I'm so excited and my compassion about it, to reach out to you before you come to the hospital, before you go through rehabilitation and hospitalization. So approach to you and discuss a little bit about fall prevention, what caused the falls, and what we can do so we don't have to treat you and we can avoid the falls. So let's start. And and okay, so these are a few facts, general facts. There are many muscles, many bones in the human bodies, and they all need to work together. And this is what we do. We're moving. We make sure that we move, and what we call it moving forward. After age 50, muscle mass decrease, and definitely our strengths, the muscle strengths decrease after the age of 60 is 3% of decline in our muscle strength. Fall accounts for over 3 million ER visits per year, which is a lot. And fracture are the most serious consequences. And that's what I mentioned. It's a long rehabilitation. If we can avoid it, that's great. And just another fact that floors and flooring materials contribute to more than 2 million falls injuries every year. So we'll go. What you see here, these are risk factors for falls. And this is very important. You see that there are many risk factors. Um, the reason the medication is in red because it's a significant issue that we see. I'm sure that all of us here, including myself, taking medications. The problem is that maybe we take too many medication. Maybe we don't take it on the right time. Maybe we don't take the right dose of medication. Every doctor we see give us more medication, but do they really look at the other medication we take? Maybe some medication don't work well with other medication. So my suggestion is, and we do it with our patients, have always a list of your medication with you. So when you see a new doctor, he knows what you take to make sure that medication work well together. Once in a while, go to the nurse or the pharmacist and they can review all your medication. You might be on medication for 20 years and you never stop just because no one told you to stop, and maybe you need to change it. So that's very important. The other risk factors that we see, some of them we don't have control. So if you're a female, you have more chance of falling, but we have no control on this. If we're aging, we don't have control. We keep aging. Medical conditions, some of them we don't, we get sick for some reason. But if you look at the gait and balancing problem, vision and hearing, cognition, everything of this, if we don't do something about it, look on the left, it's called the risk-taking behavior, meaning we know that something wrong, but we're taking a risk by not changing it. And this is definitely something that we can change. We can work on it. So we see, for example, I know some relatives that for some reason have some issues with walking. And when I tell them you have to use a cane and a walker, they say, but I'm not old. So people either embarrassed from using a cane or a walker, or they refuse to walk it because of the environment, because the neighbors, because the community, and then they start falling, and then it's too late. Or I know that someone that I know refused to wear hearing aids, probably because of some embarrassment, probably because what other people would say, probably because people will think, oh, I'm old now. But then it affects your balance, and then you fall, and then you realize, yeah, maybe I will wear the hearing aids. So that's very important. We know with the COVID patients, because they were lacking oxygen because of breathing issues, the people have problem with risk-taking behavior. They were not aware of their limitation. And we had a few falls because patients were in bed for 2 weeks or so, and they thought, oh, I can go to the bathroom. And they got out of the bed and fell. So we had to take some measurements and provide more protection and explain better to the patient. So this is a very important issue, the risk-taking behaviors, and you guys need to make sure that all the things that you can change, you actually um, change them. So here are some fall risk factors, and there are three sources. One is accident. An accident, it's good. It's only 14%, and these are things that we cannot prevent. We walk around, someone push you around, and we fall. The unanticipated physiological ones, this is when we get sick. Let's say we have a flu, we have a cold, our ears are clogged a little bit, we lose the balance, and then we might fall. And the ones that are 78% of the fall risk factors are anticipated ones. And this is good because we can take care of it. These are medication that we take. These are issues with gait and balance, which we will talk today. Problem sleeping. So we're tired and we're more prone to lose the balance and fall. We don't pay attention. So we can do something about it, we can change it, and we can control it. And that's very important. Um, let's talk a little bit about balance issues that we have. Um, all kind of conditions that affect our balance. And when they affect the balance, it increases the fall risk. So the first one will be what we call antalgic gait or painful walking or unsteady gait. Um, for various reasons, losing muscles, injuries, previous falls, all kind of muscle diseases and conditions. Difficulty with sit to stand. This is an important task that we do. And even in therapy, we check how many times people can sit to stand, and we time it in a minute. We count how many. It's a very important indication about muscle strength and the condition that we are. But if we have difficulty with this, we see some increase in falls. Decreased flexibility definitely affect. If we lose the range of motion, for example, I cannot lift the arm more than this, and I need to take something from a cabinet, I might stand on my toes to reach higher. Once I stand on my toes, I might fall. So the flexibility and range of motion is very important. Strength and endurance. When we decrease strength and endurance, our muscles are weak. We might fall or lose our balance. definitely affect the balance. Painful joint and muscles for all kind of reasons. But when we have painful joints, we slow down the walking. Maybe we cannot walk fast enough. Maybe we cannot respond fast enough. And then it's add to increase of fall. Low blood pressure that can cause lightheadedness and dizziness and lack of energy. If we don't sleep well, if we don't eat well, and we're tired, we don't pay attention, we lose the concentration, and we can add to the risk falls. So the good thing in a way about all these factors is that we can definitely do something about it. And that's the main idea of what our discussion today. What can we do? So let's see, for example, if we have gait issues, use a walker or a cane or any what we call assistive device. And again, we talk about it. It might be embarrassing. It might be that people think, oh, he's old now, but that's not important. It's really more important that we're stable and we don't come to the hospital because we fell. Because then it's a long and frustrating process. If we have problems sit to stand, we can do some lunges or any other exercises to increase the muscle strength. Flexibility, go ahead and do some stretching exercises. Um, Work on your muscles, do some weights training, go to the gym, go to a private trainer that can help you, come for physical therapy. If we have any endurance issues, we start walking a little bit more. Or if we do have any issues with muscle and joints, we go to see a doctor, refer you to physical therapy or occupational therapy, and we take care of the pain. We definitely need to see a doctor if we don't feel well, if we have a low blood pressure or any other issues, and we have to eat well. So all these things you can see is something we can control, something we can do, and to improve the balance and therefore to decrease the risk of falls. This is an interesting vicious fall cycle. So um, when we fall, we start getting a little bit less comfortable doing what we do. So we have some fear of falling again. And because of this, we decrease our activities. Once we decrease the activities, we lose the strength and the mobility, and then the risk of falling increase, and then we fall again. So like every vicious cycle, we try to break it somewhere. And the only place we can break it, it's here with decreased activity. What we can do is increase activity. So it's something we can control. And because we lose strength and mobility, let's increase the strength and mobility. Now, when we increase the activity, increase the strength, we decrease the risk of falling. We fall less, we get more confident, and then now we're in a good vicious cycle of activity and movement. So, including balance and strength training into daily life activity can reduce the rate of fall in older people. And this is really the bottom line, and it's very, very important. So now that we understand why we have to do it, let's talk a little bit about activities. So exercise is essential. And that's we learn now from the whole presentation that we did until now. So what kind of exercises we need to do? So there's like a menu of exercises. So we do warm up. Before you go somewhere, before you go to the gym, for example, try not to park just by the door. Park a few yards away and then just walk before you go, start doing some exercises. Do some stretches in the morning before you go for a walk, before you go to do some weights somewhere. And then we do aerobic training. And aerobic training will increase our endurance so we can go and um, it will be easier for to go shopping, and it will be easier for us to go back and do some traveling. So these endurance exercises. Also, it will improve our heart condition, which is very important. And then we do some strength training. This will give us the strength to, when we go shopping, to lift the groceries. Or it will, you remember we talked about sit to stand from a chair, it will be easier to go there and you improve your posture because the muscles are better in a better condition. And then flexibility, very important. If we lose the flexibility of the muscles and the tendons, we will lose the range of motion. When we lose the range of motion of shoulders, of the hips, of the back, our mobility is limited. And because of that, it will affect our walking. It will affect the daily activities that we do. So very, very important to work on our flexibility. And balance training, we've been talking about it from the beginning, give you the confidence to do things so you can prevent falls. And finally, we do some cool down. After you finish an activity, after you come back from the gym, maybe stretch a little bit more, maybe walk around a little bit more. Don't just do the weights and sit down and um, eat or watch TV or so. Do a little bit stretching exercise, let the body cool down. Okay. So these are some examples for aerobic training. We can walk, we can do a group exercises. Swimming is beautiful because it doesn't have much weight on joints. So if you have joint pain, if you have back pain, swimming is great. Dancing, doing some Tai Chi, doing martial arts, whatever you like to do um, will work to improve your endurance. And then strength exercises. We can do some weights. We can use the elastic bands. It is very popular now and it's great to use. You can join a gym. Here is the sit to stand exercise that we talk about it. Some wall push-ups if you cannot do on the floor. Any exercises. Physical therapists can work with you on those exercises. You can go to a gym. You can hire a private trainer. There are a lot of classes that you can join and do the strengthening exercises. And what we will do now, you will watch a short video that we recorded earlier, and we will do some exercises. But the importance is to do some seated exercises because some people are not stable when you're standing. And chair exercises are beautiful exercises. And you can find a lot of classes around the city. They do some chair seated exercises. Just remember that we will always have someone with you when you do the exercises. If you don't feel good, if you lose your balance, there's someone to be with you. And we suggest you do 2, 3 times a week these exercises. If you feel that the stretching exercise feel good, you can do it every day. 5 to 10 repetitions of each exercises, and make sure that you don't have pain with the exercises. If you have some pain, um, but if the exercises increase the pain, then you don't do the exercises. You stop these specific exercises. If the pain continues, you can always call your doctor and let them know that you did some exercises and you have some pain. So let's start with some stretching exercises. You just take your arm, they're very simple, and you just stretch forward. Great. If this is hard for you to do, some people it's hard, just point your hands. If it's hard for you to stretch your wrist, just stretch forward. You can modify any exercise. You hold it 5, 10 seconds, and then you relax, and then you go a little bit higher, and you hold it there, and then you go back, and then you go all the way up as much as you can. Don't force it. If you have a little bit issue with your shoulders, then you don't go as high. And then you can do it maybe one more round of each area. And then you want to stretch maybe to the side a little bit. So you take one arm and you stretch to the side, and the idea is to stretch this area. You feel a light stretch, you hold it 5, 10 seconds, and you relax. You can do the same side or you can do the other side. If it hurts on one side, then you can do it here. you can just stretch by moving the body if it's hard for you to move the shoulder. That's great. And then, so these are general exercises. You could also stretch behind your back. When you're sitting, you can move a little bit, or you can put your hands behind and just stretch. And these are stretches feel very good. And then if you want to do, for example, some strengthening exercises, you can use dumbbells. If you don't have, you can use a bottle of water or a can of soup or any food you like, and you can use this. So we can do a little bit biceps curls, and try to do always one arm at a time so you can concentrate. You can even support it with the other arm, and you can do 5, you can do 10. If you're strong, you can do a little bit more, and then you switch to the other arm. Okay, nice and slow. Again, if it hurts, you stop. And then we can do just some shoulder, some push-ups in a way. Okay, so you can just go up again in a comfortable range that you can do, and then you do the other arm. So these are some ideas. And the last exercise, we just always want to work on the legs a little bit. So you can lean back or you can sit straight, and you just work on the quadriceps muscles, which is very important for standing, for balance, and walking. So you just go up and down, and you do it a few times. If you want, you can always get some weight for your calf, and you put it around, and you can give a little bit resistance. Okay, so you just go up like this, work on the quads, and the next exercise will work on your hip. Okay, so you just go up and down. And by the way, the last one, when you sit like this, it's always good to take your toes towards you, and you get a little bit stretch in your calf muscles and your hamstring, and that's a great stretch to do that help you to keep the good range of motion of your joint and help with standing and walking. Okay, I'll see you later with the more exercises. Okay, so now we will do some exercises together. Okay, so I hope you were able to exercise a little bit. Let's talk about some exercise before we do another set of exercises. You can relax a little bit, and we talk about balance training. So we talk and we mentioned that balance training will reduce the fall risk. Um, the increase also very important that balance exercises will increase your confidence, okay, to do a lot of things. And we remember when we talk about the vicious cycle, we talked about the confidence. If we fall, we lose the confidence and we start not being active. So balance exercises will definitely help increase the confidence with, for example, going outside. People that fall start um, stop going outside. They tell us that they stay more and more at home because they're afraid um, to go out. And being in the crowded areas, people avoid going to events, they avoid going to the mall when it's crowded. And then again, they tend to stay more and more at home, which we definitely not encourage to do. Climbing stairs, once I'm more comfortable with my balance, I'm less hesitant to climb stairs. And we encourage to take the stairs instead of using elevators. So, because it's a good exercise. Getting in and out of the shower. A lot of people don't have a walk in shower and they still have tubs, which are great when we're younger. But now, when we're older and we have some issues with muscles, we have to go over the tub. And that's a problem. So, working on the balance will help us to feel more comfortable. And we'll talk about the shower and the tub later. Walking on uneven surfaces. A lot of city sidewalks are not as smooth as should be, and there's some of the streets are very challenges to walk around. So once we improve our balance, and of course using a walker or using a cane, we will feel more comfortable to walk on those surfaces. Um, and being active as we improve our balance, as we improve the confidence to do stuff, we'll find ourselves being more active. This is another set of exercises that we're going to do. These are a little bit more of a strength and balance exercises. So we will show you the video again, and there will be more of a standing exercise. Again, if you guys are not comfortable standing, if you have balance issues or muscle issues, please don't do it. You can stay sitting and start doing the exercises. Try to do them. Definitely have a chair next to you or do it in the kitchen table, a counter, so you can hold on something. Okay? We want you to be safe. Hi again. So we will do a few exercises for your legs. Again, be careful. If you don't feel stable, if you don't feel comfortable, do the exercises in the chair. Or if you do, always have someone to do the exercises with you, but have someone with you to watch you. And what I suggest that always have a chair next to you. You can put the bars or in a kitchen counter you can use. If you have equipment at home, you can use this just to support. Even if you don't hold it, just in case you lose your balance, you can hold on the chair. So that's highly recommended. So we will start with a little bit hip exercises. So you just go up and down. You can do a few times on each leg. Um, the good thing about this is that by doing this, you're standing on one leg. So it's improve your balance a little bit. And that's the whole idea that we're talking about today, to improve your balance a little bit. So if you feel very comfortable, let one hand go, and then you can do it maybe without holding. And that's more challenging, and that will be great to work on your balance. If you need, you always have the chair in case you lose your balance. The other one, we work sideways. So you can all do this. And then the other side, 5 times, 10 times. You can be comfortable and flexible about this. So we work on the hip, we did the front, we did the side, and we can go a little bit and do some to the back. We don't have a lot of range here, so if you go very far, it starts working on your back actually, it's not the hip. So just a little bit. We don't have much. And you work on your glutes, and it's very important. It's all the muscles that you need for walking. So these are for the hips a little bit. And then we can challenge a little bit your balance. So if we stand like this and we start lifting the arms, or we can move to the side, or we can move. So this challenge our balance a little bit. So that's good. If you're comfortable with this, let's have a smaller, a narrower base of support, and it's more challenging. Now if you move your arms, it will take you a little bit off balance. So that's a very good exercise to improve your balance. You can go the arms forward, you can go the arms backwards. More challenging would be with a little bit what we call rotation. So you're twisting a little bit. And this now is challenging. If it's hard for you, you can hold on a chair and then do the same exercises that you want to do. Now we will go and challenge it more. So we put one leg in front of the other. And now we're lifting the arms up and down. And you can definitely feel that it's harder to maintain the balance. If you're not feeling comfortable, put one hand on the chair and just work with one. And once in a while, let go and see that you don't lose your balance. If you do, you hold on the chair. So that's another challenge. If we go to the next step, you try to walk like this a little bit, but stay close to the chair. You don't have to walk the whole way, and you can walk back and forth, and you can always hold on a chair or on the bars or in a counter and challenge your balance. So these are very simple exercises, very comfortable exercises, but prepare you and explain what we were talking about. Thank you. Okay, so I hope you are able to do a little bit exercises. Again, it's very important. If you do have balance issues, if you do have some injuries, please talk to a doctor. Make sure they refer you for physical therapy or occupational therapy, and we will do it in a very safe way. We'll give you a proper home exercise program. Okay, there are many programs around, and I want you to be safe. That's very important. Um, these are some functional exercises. The important is I want to show you that certain exercises that you do, how this integrated in what we do in real life. So for example, if you're standing and holding on a chair and you go up and down on your toes, it will help you to reach higher when you have to take something from a cabinet. You remember when we're talking, if you have a little bit limited of range of motion because of some shoulder issues, then if you stand on your toes, you can maybe reach a little bit higher. But again, you want to make sure you have a counter next to you, you have a chair next to you, so it's always safe. Okay. And then when we talk about the tub, so these exercises, lifting the leg and moving it from side to side, will help us to prepare to step over in a tub when we have to go in and out into a tub. And the sit to stand, again, as I told you, it's a very important exercise to do that will help us to get from low seats. And by the way, if we're talking about this, you can always put a cushion on a sofa or on a low chair, and then it's much easier to get up. So these are very good and functional exercise to do. Other functional exercise that you can enjoy doing, it's gardening definitely, and we do it in different positions. We're pushing, pulling, kneeling. We can roll once in a while, slowly log from right side to the other in a bed. Just make sure that the bed is wide enough and you don't find yourself on the floor. But these are great exercise to work on the trunk and the arms and the legs, and definitely climbing stairs. Try to use the stairs, preferably stairs that we have a rail. And if not, we can install a rail. So it's very, very important, okay, that give you the support and the confidence. So let's talk about some guidelines and some useful guidelines that help us to prevent the fall. So first of all, space your furnitures apart. These are really stuff that you can do around the house, and they found very, very, very helpful. Um, Make sure you don't have to go through furnitures that they're all set apart, and you have enough space to move around. Remove clutter. Okay, definitely a room like this will be a challenge when you have a balance issues, when you have hip issues, when you come after surgeries. So that's definitely a big no. Remove throw rugs that may cause you to sleep. And we some people like to have those small rugs around, but they're very slippery. And if we lose our balance, we will fall. So at a certain point, we have to decide to remodel the house a little bit and remove those. Um, we can use, if you do want some, there is these things that are non-slip mats, and we can put it under rugs, maybe in the bathroom. Maybe if you do insist to have some rugs, we have those. You can buy them, find them easily at the like Home Depot and other stores, and you can put it under, and it will give you a little bit more safety issues. And then within the tub, install bars. Some of have those big suction that you can put. Some of them you have to actually screw them to the wall, which is more safe. But put the bars. The more bars you have around, if you lose the balance, especially in the bathroom, you have something to grab on, and it's sturdy. If needed, use some chairs with arm sets or arm supports. Much easier to get up. If you don't have, for example, on a sofa, you can buy these devices and put it on the sofa, and then it becomes like you sit on the sofa, but it's like a chair, and it's very useful to use. Or there are some electrical operated chairs that they actually help you to stand up. So they stand you up. That's a nice device to have. Remove electrical cords. We have a lot of injuries, many falls that are because people got stuck on cords that were around the house. And then lighting is very important, even to keep at night some light in the hallway so you can find your way and you don't have to look around and then you might trip over something. Um, Avoid climbing on step stools. That's very important. A lot of people have those small step stools in the kitchen so they can reach higher, but they can flip over and fall. So we do highly suggest move everything that you have high on in cabinets to move them lower, and you don't have to use the step stools. Raised toilet seats, very important. They can come just on top of the toilet, or they can have a rail, and then it's like a what we call a high toilet seat, and you can have the rail so you can push yourself up. These are very functional. They're very good devices to have because toilets are traditionally very low. Be careful with long coats and dresses and nights. Just the clothing has to be comfortable so you cannot, it will be safe. Avoid rushing to the phone. So now most of people have the regular cellular phone, so we're not rushing to those old-fashioned phones, but still sometimes we forget the cellular phone somewhere. So that would be a nice solution, just to have the phone hanging um, with you, and then it's always there available if you need for emergency calls or so. Um, Medical alarm, a medical alert, very important, and there are companies that can provide it. And then if you fall, you push on it and someone will come. Because unfortunately, we have a few patients in the hospital that were lying down at home by the bathroom for a day or two until relatives found them. So those push alarms are very, very important. They can be around your neck, they can be as a watch, or even when you sit. So it's very, very important. Stairs, make sure that you have a rail. If you need to build one, to add one, it's highly, highly recommend. And you see this guy is using a rail and his cane. So he's really safe, and we teach how to do it in a safely way. Um, Before we almost done, just a little bit about other joints that we have. For example, your back. Um, Avoid prolonged sitting position. You want to change your position very often. Avoid twisting at the waist. You want to, when you have especially an object, you want to turn the whole body to the side rather than do twisting, because this can hurt your back. It's very important. Once you hurt your back, you have pain. It affects your walking, it affects your balance, and then it increases the risk of fall. You definitely want to bend at your knees and not at the waist. You see here. Um, in this way, at the most, if something happened, your muscles will ache a little bit, but you will not injure your back. Protect your knees. Avoid twisting at the knees. Move your feet. Move from side to side. Again, the whole body to move rather than twisting. Avoid prolonged sitting with the knees bent. Stretch your knees once in a while. We showed you some of the exercises to do. Um, and we definitely want to wear comfortable and properly fitting shoes. Very, very important. Again, physical therapists can definitely discuss with you proper shoes, and there's a lot of good shoes around, and we can refer you, and it makes a whole difference with safety for falls. Okay. In general, if I want to give a general idea about shoes, you don't want the shoes to be easily bent. You want them to be more stiff, and this gives you a little bit more support. But talk to your therapist, talk to the doctors about it. Um, we just want you to be safe. I hope you enjoyed this short discussion. And I left here the phone numbers. You can always call Valley Presbyterian Hospital, ask for the physical therapy department, and I'll be more than happy to talk to you and assist you with any issues that you have to related to what we were talking about.
Hey, Avi,
Yes,
there's one question,
definitely.
and it's Patricia that's saying, on stairways, would you recommend carpeting or hardwood?
Um, in general, hardwood will be better. And carpeting, the problem is carpeting that when we have certain shoes that get stuck on the carpet and we lose the balance. So carpeting, especially on the stairs, it's not highly recommended.
Wonderful. Well, thank you. This was extremely helpful. I have so many things to go over with my mom again because she's doing everything wrong. So We try. But and on behalf
Great.
of the Daily News, I want to thank all our attendees for being here today, and Valley Presbyterian for providing such a great presentation. So you all have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you.